Welcome to the application tutorial video. In this video, I'm going to explain the IPFS pinning service workflow. Imagine you're a researcher and you want to add data to the interplanetary file system. In order to do this, open the IPFS desktop app, which you have installed before. Now go to Files on the left-hand side. Here you see a list of files which you have added before. In order to add a new file, simply click on Import and then File and choose the file you want to import. In our case, we are going to import a netcdf file of temperature data, which is roughly 200 megabyte in size. Now I select the file, click Open, and see how the file is imported. Now the file appears in the list of your imported files. Below the file name, there you can find the content identifier, which is also called CID. The CID becomes important if you want to share your file with colleagues or if you want to pin your file. In order to access the CID, simply click on Copy CID. In order to pin your data and make them available anytime and from everywhere, simply share your CID with your pinning service provider. In order to do this, go back to the IPFS desktop app where you find the CID. So simply click Copy CID and send the CID to your pinning service provider. Then this pinning service provider simply adds your files by typing IPFS pin add and then the CID. Now your file is pinned to the service provider and is even available if your personal IPFS node is not online. If you now go back to your network traffic, you can see that when the service provider pinned your file, there's outgoing file traffic. So you see that the file transfer happened. Now I'm going to show you how to access files which are hosted in the interplanetary file system. In order to access files in the interplanetary file system, you can simply use xArray from Python. First of all, we are going to import the module xArray. And then we can access the dataset by using its content identifier. The IPFS always accesses the file which is on your nearest IPFS node. You can already have a look at some metadata. You can see we are looking at the variable Gmax, which we are having a closer look at. And here we can see in the metadata that the variable we are accessing is air temperature with the unit Kelvin. The file download starts once we start a calculation or accessing the data for plotting. Here we can see the first time step of the data. This was an example of a rather small file of roughly 300 megabyte. IPFS is also capable of hosting large files up to 12 gigabytes, as we can see here. Again, we are accessing the file via its content identifier. In the metadata, we see that we are looking at precipitation data. And we can also get further information about the unit. Again, the file download starts once we're accessing the value of the file. As we can see, The IPFS is an easy way to share and secure data. If we include the content identifier in our catalogs, the data will be really easy to find and accessible. And as we saw in the notebook, it's also easy to interoperate the data. Because files in the IPFS are immutable, workflows become reproducible. So overall, the IPFS strengthens fair data workflows. Please check out our repository or reach out for further information and examples.